Right now this morning, Governor Walz brings the People vs. Musk tour to Eau Claire, taking on Trump cuts and Social Security changes. What you need to know to make sure your Social Security check arrives on time.
And a weather alert day beginning as you start your morning commute, going through your evening commute as well. We'll talk about that in just moments.
This is News 8 Now, this morning.
Good morning, I'm Alexandra Carter.
And I'm Art Jarrett.
It is Wednesday, March 19th, so we know we've got some weather on the way, but how will the morning commute be?
Well, the morning commute is going to start off with some winds getting into at least, say, 24 to about maybe 34, 35 miles per hour. We get a little bit of light rainfall and snow that's going to work its way into the area. It starts around 6 o'clock as we get into it, so by the time the kids are going to school, we're looking at some light rainfall moving in the picture, and that will turn into at least a mix of rain and snow going into the latter portion into their afternoon. All right, so into that, you're going to be seeing strong winds. We're going to get winds gusting up to 55 miles per hour. We could get up to 6 to 10 inches of snow in the forecast. And that's kind of spread across the region here, so not just in one location. You've got all the winter alerts that are in play right now. You've got the blizzard warning in play coming in from southern portions of Minnesota. You've got it in northern Iowa. You've got the winter weather advisory, or I should say a warning in play here as well as you get into it for areas from Eau Claire down to Winona. Not so much La Crosse though. Winter weather advisory though is in play for La Crosse, getting into Sparta, working into Vogue Field. That continues on. We also have a light chance of, or slow to low chance of marginal risk for severe weather. So we'll keep an eye on that as the day progresses. Holding on to a wind advisory that's in play. That starts at 1 p.m. and that goes to 7 a.m. going into Thursday. So it'll be a little breezy going into your morning commute as well for tomorrow. Current temperatures right now, 30s widespread to some 40s mixed into La Crosse and Eau Claire. And areas you can see that it feels a little bit colder on your skin. When I come back, I'll give you a view of how this all times out and where it's going to be, so please stick around.
And remember, you can track weather on your block with the First Warn Weather app. Download that wherever you download your apps. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz slamming Trump administration cuts at an Eau Claire town hall yesterday, calling for Democrats to push back harder. The People vs. Musk event drew key Democratic figures, including State Party Chair Ben Wickler and Secretary of State Sarah Godlewski. Walz criticized Trump administration cuts, calling for stronger Democratic opposition.
We have to be and understand we are in a fight like we haven't seen, and that's why we're here.
Speakers also targeted Congressman Derek Van Orden for avoiding in-person town halls and criticized Elon Musk-backed funding against Democratic Supreme Court candidate Susan Crawford.
Is the kind of public servant that all of us would want to be leading and serving in our government.
Democrats criticized Van Orden for holding only virtual town halls, something that he stands behind, calling in-person disruptions completely disrespectful. A federal judge ruling USAID cannot be dismantled. The judge found government efforts to shut down the humanitarian aid agency likely violated the Constitution. The order also blocks DOJ staffers from accessing sensitive USAID data. President Trump says his administration plans to appeal. Today, Russia and Ukraine will exchange prisoners, including wounded Ukrainian soldiers, amid diplomatic developments. President Trump and Russian President Putin agreeing the Ukraine war needs to end with a lasting peace. According to the White House, Russia has agreed to halt attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure for 30 days. President Zelensky says Ukraine will stop similar attacks on Russian sites. No indication if Putin accepts the broader 30-day ceasefire. La Crosse's mayoral candidates will face off tonight at the Politics for Pints Forum. The AARP hosted event starts at 6 p.m. at the Capella Center. Attendees can question the two remaining mayoral candidates while enjoying a drink. The free event starts at 6, running till 7:30. You do have to be 21 or older to participate. You can register online. And a quick reminder, News 8 hosting a mayoral debate of our own that'll take place 7 p.m. on Friday live in our studio. You can watch that on 8.2 or our digital platforms. And tonight on Alaska, voters can hear from their school board candidates at a virtual forum. The League of Women Voters of La Crosse is hosting that event from 6:30 to 7:30. Voters will select 2 school board representatives in the April 1st election. No registration is required to watch the live stream on the League's YouTube channel. In-person absentee voting will continue in La Crosse today. La Crosse voters can cast your ballot at the Southside Neighborhood Center from 1 to 5 or the Cleary Alumni Center from 10 to 2. Eau Claire residents can vote at City Hall from 9 to 4. Early voting running through March 28th. Election Day is April 1st. Minnesota is going after Medicaid fraud using a bill to do that. News 8 Now's Grace Monk reports.
Staff members would be added to the Attorney General's Medicaid Fraud Control Unit. It would also increase criminal penalties and allow the unit to access financial records during investigations.
Most people who work in the program are doing the right thing. But the truth is, evil lurks in the hearts of men and women. And sometimes people commit fraud, and we've got to be there to hold them accountable when we catch them.
Current legislation defines Medicaid fraud as an attempted theft of public funds with a maximum sentence of 2.5 years. The new legislation would make that maximum sentence 20 years and include a fine of up to $100,000 for theft over $35,000. The biggest way providers commit fraud is falsely reporting hours and services.
So they'll say, well, we provided so a provider might say, we provided 20 hours in one day for Miss McGillicuddy, and they only did 5, or they didn't go at all. Or they might say that, they provided, they gave care to a fictitious person who doesn't even exist. But it really boils down to overbilling.
Medicaid fraud has a ripple effect.
It not only takes money out of the system, which is very bad, it not only takes money away from its intended beneficiary, which is very bad, but it also erodes the public confidence in programs like Medicaid.
For Ellison, the goal is to make sure people have access to the services they need.
Medicaid is a very important program. Low-income people who rely on medical assistance in Minnesota and like Wisconsin and other places really need it. It's keeping people healthy, getting them the care they provide.
Reporting for News 8 Now this morning, Grace Monk.
The bill will need approval from the Minnesota House and Senate. We're now learning the identities of the victim and suspect in a deadly Quick Trip stabbing. Police say 34-year-old Dennis Vosica of Mankato was found unresponsive at the Madison Avenue store around 3 a.m. yesterday. He was later pronounced dead at the hospital. Police used security footage to identify and arrest 28-year-old Michael Miller on second-degree murder charges. In a statement, Quick Trip CEO says, "We are fully committed to supporting our co-workers through this painful ordeal and are working closely with law enforcement." Help could be on the way for La Crosse homeowners struggling with high energy bills. The city's new initiative uses Inflation Reduction Act funds to pay for home energy assessments for low-income residents. These assessments determine which federal grants homeowners qualify for to cover energy-saving upgrades.
But La Crosse is quite interested in figuring out how do we help as many residents here in La Crosse as possible. Low-income residents are able to qualify for more funds from this new law, and so this new program that La Crosse is launching is going to help over 300 local residents get almost first in line.
He says funds will also be used to create new union jobs. Congressman Van Orden presented a military service award. U.S. Army Flight Officer Joseph Schuster was killed during World War II in the Battle of the Bulge. Yesterday, his family received the Gold Star, awarded to him for his sacrifice. Schuster's daughter, Billy, says that this gesture helps her feel closer to her dad.
There's never been a day in my whole life that I haven't thought of.
She gave her dad, when she was just a baby, to our country at the altar of democracy, and that needs to be respected throughout all time.
Van Orden says this is the first time he's presented a Gold Star, calling it one of the most emotional experiences he's had. This morning, thousands of JFK assassination records are now public, though most were previously released with redactions. The FBI discovered about 2,400 additional documents following an executive order from President Trump. The National Archives had already made 99% of JFK records public by 2023. Some documents from the CIA, Pentagon, and State Department remained sealed to protect confidential sources. The newly released records are available on the National Archives website. Astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams are back on Earth after an unexpectedly long 9-month stay aboard the International Space Station. They were a part of a crew of 4 that splashed down off the coast of Florida yesterday. CBS's Karen Waugh is also in Houston with more on their long-awaited return.
A Houston homecoming. Astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams reunited with loved ones hours after their return from a 286-day space odyssey.
Splashdown, Crew 9 back on Earth.
The SpaceX Dragon carrying Wilmore and Williams, along with Crew 9 Commander Nick Hague and Russian cosmonaut Alexander Gorbanov, splashed down off the coast of Tallahassee, Florida at just before 6 p.m. yesterday.
Some happy waves, smiles all around.
A pod of dolphins swam nearby as the recovery team pulled the capsule out of the water and later assisted the 4 crew members as they climbed out. In Williams' hometown in Massachusetts, residents gathered to root for her return.
We all kind of feel relieved that she's safe.
Ignition. The 2 astronauts launched on the first human test flight of the Boeing Starliner in June of last year. But the vessel developed propulsion problems and, for safety reasons, returned to Earth without them, stretching their planned 8-day mission to 9 months. It was a SpaceX vessel that finally brought them home after it carried their replacements to the ISS.
And it shows the benefits of the commercial public-private partnership that we have.
During their extended mission, Williams set a spacewalk record for women astronauts. NASA says she and Wilmore also conducted more than 150 experiments.
NASA officials say the experiments they conducted included using stem cell technology to potentially address blood diseases, autoimmune disorders, and even cancers. Time now is 6:12. Still to come for us, some changes being made into how you may collect your Social Security checks. Stouffer's is recalling some of its frozen meals this morning, and Dollar General set to close nearly 100 stores.
There's a shortage of skilled workers in the trades. I'm Cristian Benavides in Sarasota, Florida, with how some high schools are preparing a new generation for this type of work.
And sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. More than 500,000 cherry blossoms are now blooming in Wuhan, China, attracting crowds of visitors. The city is offering specialized cherry blossom line bus tours to help tourists experience the pale pink beauty. The top stop is the 132-year-old Wuhan University, home to 1,000 cherry trees alone, which are, of course, now at peak bloom, looking so beautiful. There's a better look. And as you start to wake up, leaving you with a quick wake-up call with the Cat Condo in Frazee, Minnesota. This is what we introduced you to last week. We tried to show you last hour, but they were all asleep. Look at them now, though. I can see 3 here. I think there are 4 or 5 in there. They're up and at 'em this morning, aren't they? Well, stay with us. Your morning consumer news is coming right up after the break.
During the spring savings event at PM Sleep Center, you'll save up to $400 on the Beauty Rest Black Collection. It's for a limited time, so shop for the best selection only at PM Sleep Center, giving La Crosse a good night's sleep for over 35 years.
I was in a very bad relationship. After that, I made it my mission to help people. Brad Schimmel really wanted to know, how can we help survivors? He got right in there with me and did the work that needed to be done. I know Brad, the person, and I know how passionate he is about helping people, women, sexual assault victims, children. He has made it his life's mission to help families. I know that about him.
To everyone who believes in tradition, come enjoy a few of ours from Wisconsin.
People in Wisconsin love a good fish fry.
Really love. And we love sharing it with guests everywhere.
At Culver's, we still batter our North Atlantic cod by hand to order.
And we cook it to a crispy, golden perfection just for you.
For you.
For you. So it's crispy outside, flaky inside. Let us take care of you.
With some homegrown traditions we were raised on.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
A1 Vacuum Sales and Service has been part of the La Crosse area for 75 years. And so we thank you for that opportunity and for supporting the area's largest vacuum store for all these years. Our mission is to provide great service and offer quality products that stand the test of time. And we will continue to be part of this wonderful area we call home. Leave a legacy that isn't plastic in a landfill and support the store that supports you. Thank you for your business.
A1 Vacuum. Our business is picking up.
The Silverado Trail Boss. And a little work. And a little play. And a truck that says no to nothing. and Chevrolet.
It's Chevy Truck Month. Well-qualified buyers can get 2.9% financing for 72 months on this Silverado, or get $4,350 total value. Plus, current Chevy owners can get $4,000 total cash allowance when you trade in an eligible vehicle.
There's been a lot of talk about this Supreme Court race, but here's what's really at stake. Brad Schimmel wants to make sure women don't have the right to make their own health care decisions. If he wins, that right is gone. I'm Susan Crawford, a former prosecutor, a common sense judge, and a mom. And I trust women to make their own health care decisions. Brad Schimmel doesn't, but I always will. And that's why I'm asking for your vote.
Save some green with PM Sleep Center's March mattress sale. Over 15 queen mattresses, $5.99 or less. Queen pillow top mattresses start at $3.99. Twin mattresses start at $159. Stop in soon at PM Sleep Center, giving La Crosse a good night's sleep for over 35 years.
Morning to you. Take a look at here going through Iowa. They've got some severe weather kind of working through the forecast right now. That's heading towards Mason City. You've got all that lightning and thunderstorm activity. That's some heavy rain and storm activity, so we'll keep an eye on that right now. So that is a thunderstorm warning in play right now. Getting into it though, you have the light rainfall and snow kind of working up to the north, getting into Ladysmith as well, kind of brushing Eau Claire with a little bit, trying to get down to the ground. We have a wind advisory that's in play too. That comes in at 1 o'clock. That goes to Thursday at 7 a.m. in the morning. That's going to be showing some winds that are picking up to 55 miles per hour. We have here, as we get into it, 6:30 a.m. We're looking at that light rain and snow that I told you about, that light snowfall up there, getting towards Eau Claire and Ladysmith. That kind of kicks in around, say, the 6 o'clock hour. However, as we go through it right now, we're looking at La Crosse, possibly around the 9 o'clock hour. This model is showing. Could possibly get into around some light rainfall and a mix of rain and snow with the heavier rainfall down to the south, getting towards Prairie du Chien. As that happens, though, we'll see that pick up again as we go into the 10 o'clock hour, and that happens up, we'll see that mix of rain and snow begin to really develop, getting into the afternoon hours all the way to the mid-afternoon. Snow starts to increase as well. So we've got the rainfall transitioning to the mix, and then the mix transitioning to snow, and that means you're going to be seeing that rainfall get kind of mixed out of the area, and snow takes precedent as we go through the end of the afternoon and into your evening commute. You're seeing most of that snow kind of continuing on, finishing out about 11 o'clock. When I come back, we'll have an overview, give you another view of how this all plays out. We'll keep a look at that severe weather that's heading towards the river, so please stick around.
In your morning consumer news, if you collect Social Security, new anti-fraud rules may affect how you access your benefits. Starting March 29th, you'll no longer be able to change your bank information by phone. After March 31st, if you can't verify your identity online, you'll need to visit a field office in person. These changes come as the Social Security Administration closes office and cuts staff by 12%. While online services remain available, many seniors may find these digital requirements are challenging. Nestle is recalling several frozen meals due to possible wood-like material contamination. Affected products include 3 lean cuisine varieties: butternut squash ravioli, spinach artichoke ravioli, and lemon garlic shrimp stir-fry, plus Stouffer's party-sized chicken lasagna. The meals were sold at major retailers between September and this month. There was one potential choking incident. You can return the affected products for a refund or replacement. Dollar General is planning to close nearly 100 stores across the nation in the first quarter of the year. The company will also convert 6 Pop Shelf stores to Dollar General locations. The closures represent less than 1% of the company's overall store base. And interest in skilled trades is rising among teenagers, and there's a job market waiting to welcome them. Christian Benavides takes us to one Florida high school, bringing back vocational training.
Students at Riverview High School's Construction Academy in Sarasota are nailing it. For many, including 17-year-old Allison Newcomb, this hands-on experience may lead straight to a career rather than college.
You know that you definitely want to work in the trades.
Yes, most definitely. College, it puts a damper on things for some kids. Like my sister, she's struggling paying for her tuition.
Between 2003 and 2023, the average annual cost for tuition and fees at a public 4-year college shot up 141%. That rise, coupled with a labor shortage, led to the creation of this in-demand vocational program.
There's the opportunities for those that don't want to go to college to go right into apprenticeship programs earn a living, learn a trade, and be able to have a successful career.
Teacher Jeff Lapandera also runs his own cabinetry business.
How hard is it to find qualified people out there?
As an employer, it's very difficult.
The Associated Builders and Contractors Trade Group is forecasting a shortage of about 500,000 construction workers this year.
Southwest Florida builder Neal Communities found it so difficult to hire workers, the company has donated more than $60,000 to the academy.
We're seeing the older generation, in their 60s and their 70s starting to retire, and we're seeing them having issues hiring entry-level workers as well as continue the management pipeline.
While studies show higher earnings for college graduates, an industry survey found more than 80% of those working in construction are making yearly salaries above $65,000. 18-year-old Landon Hissung says he's ready to get to work right after graduation.
My dad just got done paying off his college debt, and that's one thing I don't want to get into. I just want to start making money.
Here Hissung's learning the skills to forge his own path.
Also contributing to worker shortages in places like Florida and California, hurricanes and natural disasters, as well as immigration crackdowns. Let's look at your consumer news. We'll send it over to Art now. He's got a look at our forecast.
All right, I gave you a view of what's happening out there right now. As you get into your local forecast, this is what I've got going on for you. Finishing out, we've got the weather alert day getting into play here for snowfall, heavy snowfall, strong winds, and of course we could see some dangerous road travel. Rainfall is in that as well. We could see some heavy rainfall. Still looking at what's going on in Iowa. They've got some severe weather working up along that. That track is working toward us, and we do have a low risk for severe weather here today as we get into it here. So eventually we'll keep an eye on that. But for now, as we get into the daytime, you're looking at is again for the noon hour all the way through. This is going to continue on for a heavy snowfall getting into the forecast. This morning is going to be all about the rainfall, getting into a mix of rain and snow. But for now, getting to the afternoon, I just want to give you a view of this as well, holding on to that happening for Eau Claire up to the north. Now this is what's going on. Temperatures 30s, some 40s into the forecast today. You've got cloudier conditions as well and breezy and gusty winds. As we go into the morning hours, you're seeing this rainfall, light to moderate right now. Currently in Iowa, it's holding on to areas of really heavy rainfall and severe weather and lightning and thunderstorm activity. But for us, we've got the rainfall moving into the picture here. It is light to moderate. That's why this alert, I should say, the marginal risk is down to our south. And so you can see we had a mix of rain and snow as we get closer to the afternoon. That's in the pink there. And as that continues on, or mauve, whatever color you want to call it there, it continues to grow into the afternoon. The rainfall itself started to track towards Lake Michigan, and it's getting smaller and smaller. Snow's getting larger because the rain-snow mix is actually kind of eroding and transitioning into snow. And as we get into the afternoon commute and to the evening commute as well, you're going to be seeing that snow continue to impress all the way into the 7 o'clock hour through the commute. We're seeing that pull away from Ladysmith as well as Eau Claire. By the time we get into the 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock hour, it moves away from La Crosse. Snow is pretty much over to our east by Wausau, getting down to Wisconsin Dells, and it's up and out, hanging over the lake, continuing on by the time we get toward the midnight hour. All right, so that's what's happening. Who's getting it? Well, you can see everybody's pretty much getting into the rain and snow today as well. As you can see it, the winds are going to be pretty much coming out. It started at the northeast, and now they're going to be out of the north for the better part of the day. So that's going to continue to work through your forecast. So everybody's getting snow. It's also going to be, as we get down to this, you're going to be seeing this continue up to the north. They're going to break away from that eventually sooner than we will down to the south. Rainfall, about 1 to 2 inches of rainfall in the forecast, and as we go into it, 6 to 8 inches up to the north because they're going to be in the snow longer than everybody else. 3 to 6 inches of snow getting in the forecast for La Crosse because we're going to be in that, well, pretty much in the mix of rain and snow, and of course, so we don't have that much rainfall. I mean, I should say snowfall on the ground. 1 to 3 inches for you as you get into areas right by Prairie du Chien. The winds will be a part of your day as well, going in from the morning hours all the way from the morning commute, getting into the afternoon. So you're looking at winds getting up to 34 to 35 miles per hour. Continuing on through the afternoon, you're going to see those winds still holding up to the 30s and the 40 mile per hour wind gusts kind of move into the picture to near 50 miles per hour finishing out tonight. We'll go back into it here. Tomorrow looks pretty nice for the first day of spring. Get out and enjoy that if you can. Plenty of sunshine's on the way. You get into the forecast here, what's happening. We see more rain and snow coming back again as we go into Sunday and into Monday. You'll see that rainfall first and the snowfall coming in for Monday. However, temperatures mostly in the 40s, maybe a couple of 50s there, and then eventually we're staying in the cool for the next 8 days. Be safe. Back to you.
All right, Art, thank you. Coming up, what is in your baby's formula? A new investigation finds concerning levels of toxic metals in some brands. We'll tell you what parents should know after the morning sports blitz.
Coming up in the Blitz, the Caledonia boys looking for a quarterfinal win at state, plus the Packers with a new offensive weapon. We're back after this.
Every kid deserves a great education. As state superintendent, I helped pass a new literacy law, raised math and science standards, and expanded technical education. My opponent is a lobbyist who's never held a Wisconsin teaching license. She's worked to drain money from public schools to pay for private schools, raise property taxes, and eliminate teacher license requirements. I'm Jill Underley. I'll protect our public schools and never stop working to improve them.
If your home is looking drab, trade it in. Trade it in. The furniture's old and yucky, trade it in. Trade it in. If you're seeking a solution, then King's your resolution. If you're tired of your look, then trade it in. Trade it in.
At King's Trade-In Sale, trade in your old recliner for $50 towards a new one. Trade in your old sofa for $100. Trade in your old mattress for $75. Plus get free delivery and 12 months no interest payments at the King Furniture Trade-In Sale.
Lane's Farm and Fleet's Spring Jeans Sale is going on now, and we have a great selection of quality name brand denim at unbeatable prices. Right now, get a free $20 Blaine's gift card with every $100 purchase of men's or women's Ariat jeans. In our service center, select tires are buy 3, get 1 free for rewards members. And get our best tire price promise. Find a lower price and we'll match it. We've got the value you need to do things your way. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Being original.
The new Nacho Taco Bravo from Taco John's. Our famous beef crispy taco wrapped in a soft tortilla, all held together by refried beans and warm nacho cheese. This is Nacho Average Taco. Get 2 for just $6, only at Taco John's.
Voters deserve to know what our records are.
Susan Crawford's record? Disturbing and dangerous. A 7-year-old girl sexually assaulted. The attacker faced 100 years. Crawford let him off with only 4.
I don't regret that sentence.
A 5-year-old violated. The predator should have rotted in prison. He got out in just 2 years. She protected them, not us.
I don't regret that sentence. I am proud of the work that I've done.
Susan Crawford, putting criminals over your kids.
Sunken or uneven concrete only worsens with time due to changing seasons, stress on the slab, or poorly compacted soil. Your sunken concrete won't get better with time, but it will with our modern solutions. Choose American Waterworks.
The Blitz, well, there is on a roll, and then there's 17 games won in a row coming into the state tournament over in Minnesota. That's how Caledonia entered last night's contest, taking on Minnehaha. First half action, the Warriors extending their lead. It's Reed Klug with the spin move and the miss, but he sticks with it and gets his own board to make it 11-4. Then right before the half, this is Mason King getting to the cup. He'll flip one up and in for the deuce. Caledonia with a 38-22 lead at half. Fun sequence here in the second half. Off a miss, the Redhawks get the board, but there's a steal and a jam as Klug climbs the ladder for the jam. A little later, Minnehaha getting close, but Ethan Stendel skying for the rebound and kissing it off the glass to give Caledonia a little more cushion. And then no miss here. The football pass is going to go down to Garrett Coons, and look out below. The senior punching it home, plus the foul, and the Warriors knock off the Redhawks. They advance to the state semis against top-seeded Albany Friday at 6. Some accolades for playmakers here in the state of Wisconsin on the collegiate side of things. Wisconsin's John Tonje and Marquette's Cam Jones named to the AP All-American second team. Tonje, a transfer from Missouri, averaged over 19 points per game with stellar percentages from the field and free throw line. Meanwhile, Jones leads the Golden Eagles in points and assists per game, as well as field goal percentage. Some NFL free agency news as well yesterday. The Packers have a new weapon for Jordan Love, as it was reported that Green Bay is bringing in 6-year pro Mecole Hardman. Now, Hardman was a second-round pick by the Chiefs back in 2019, and he brings an element of speed the Packers are lacking with Christian Watson's injury. Hardman also has experience as a punt returner, which he may be featured as after Keyshawn Nixon said he wanted to primarily be a cornerback. It's reported to be a 1-year deal. Could be a move that pays dividends for the Packers. We will see for sure. That'll do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
Enjoy tax relief savings today at Home Furniture. Everything is on sale. Spend $9.99 or more and receive an extra 7% tax relief discount. Plus, take advantage of no interest for 1 year. Don't miss out on 7% tax relief savings going on now at Home Furniture.
I was driving with my son in the passenger seat when we were struck from behind by a distracted driver. When I called Schwebel, Getz & Sieben, I appreciated their patience because they were waiting to see if I recovered. They were wanting me to recover. And when I did not recover, I was going to need the financial support that they were able to secure for me. Calling Schwebel, Getz & Sieben right away was the best thing I ever did.
You need an experienced attorney on your side. Schwebel, Getz & Sieben.
Verizon and AT&T announced price hikes a total of 10 times in the past 2 years. Doesn't that blow your mind? Families can switch to T-Mobile and get all the benefits of their plans while saving 20%. T-Mobile blows the competition away.
T-Mobile will also give you up to $800 when you switch.
Mind blown. Is that a jet engine?
Go to T-Mobile.com to see how families can save 20% and get $800.
That's lunch.
Hey, I went to the new place. They didn't have everything, but the bananas were on sale.
Wait, why didn't you go to Woodman's?
Hi, we're the Woodmans. I'm Clint. I'm Phil. Other stores promote a few items but charge more for everything else. At Woodman's, you save big time money on your whole grocery bill.
I even use the app to compare prices.
Oh my gosh, talk about receipt regret. Our work here is done.
Service and savings. It's Woodman's.
Come to the 27th Annual Early Bird Home Show. Lowest prices of the year.
Windows, doors, patio doors, lowest price of the year.
Bath remodels, kitchen remodels, lowest prices of the year.
Pergolas, decks, or sunrooms, lowest price of the year.
Siding, trim, or gutters, lowest prices of the year.
27th Annual Early Bird Home Show, only at the Board Store, 524 Copen Avenue, La Crosse. TheBoardStoreOnline.com or call 608-782-8877.
A 5-year-old girl violated. The predator faced up to 60 years behind bars. Radical Susan Crawford sided with him, released on a $500 bond, and lived across from a school. His sentence, just 4 years in prison. Now he's free. All because Susan Crawford and her warped, soft-on-crime agenda. Catch and release Crawford. Don't take the risk. Fair Courts America is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Right now at Home Sleep Express, get an extra 7% tax relief savings plus free delivery and setup when you spend $9.99 or more on quality mattress brands like Luxuria and Thomas Cole Sleep. Tax relief savings now at Home Sleep Express.
Thank you for watching News 8 Now. Expect more.
In your morning medical news, a powerful message of hope is appearing throughout Winona. The local chapter of the National Alliance on Mental Illness is installing suicide prevention signs in city parks. The signs read, "You are not alone, you are needed, and the world needs you here. Call or text 988 for help." NAMI board members say they've noticed an increase in local suicide attempts. They hope these messages remind everyone support is always available.
We want to do whatever we can to help those that are struggling mentally. If we can impact one person positively, we feel like we're doing something right. Is a sign going to stop somebody? Is it going to save a life? Not necessarily. Is it going to make them stop and think? That's what we're hoping.
We'll have a link to NAMI's programs on our website. New Pew Research data offering a window into what worries today's teens. Girls report more pressure about appearance and social acceptance. All teens stress about academic performance. Looking forward, teens prioritize finding fulfilling careers, financial success, and meaningful friendships. In a push to improve infant formula safety, HHS and the FDA are launching Operation Stork Speed. That initiative aims to give families more options for safe and nutritious baby formula. It coincides with a new Consumer Reports investigation finding toxic heavy metals like lead and arsenic in some formulas. Jared Hill reports.
It's nourishment for millions of babies, but a new investigation from Consumer Reports finds what it calls potentially harmful levels of heavy metals in some infant formulas.
We really want these results to be empowering for parents.
Sana Mujahid with Consumer Reports says their food safety team tested 41 of the most popular powdered infant formulas for heavy metals and other contaminants such as lead, inorganic arsenic, and PFAS, so-called forever chemicals. What were the findings here?
You know, our findings were mostly good news. There are only 10 that are in our worst choices categories, which had relatively higher levels of lead, inorganic arsenic, and one had BP and acrylamide as well.
There is no source that's going to be zero.
Dr. Mark Corkins is a pediatric gastroenterologist at Le Bonheur Children's Hospital.
Arsenic is a poison in high doses initially, but we're not talking about that, even close to that. The concern over time is that they're carcinogens. Lead's more of a short-term problem because it affects the ability to make red blood cells and circulation, and it actually has some effects on development.
Consumer Reports has sent their findings to the FDA. In the meantime, scientists say that there are things that parents can do.
Limit your exposure as much as possible.
That includes using filtered water to mix into powdered formula. Parents can also speak with their pediatrician if they want to switch formulas. Mujahid reminds parents to keep the findings in perspective, as these contaminants have also been detected in breast milk, food, and water. She hopes their testing pushes manufacturers to continue keeping safety top of mind, as most products were in their top or good categories.
So some companies are doing something right. And with more testing of incoming raw ingredients and final products, I think all manufacturers could achieve that.
Serving up a healthy start for the next generation.
Winona caregivers and parents received free trauma support training yesterday. Resilient Winona County hosted workshops teaching strategies to support young people while addressing root causes of trauma. Participants gained techniques for caring for themselves and others during difficult times.
Caregiving is one of the hardest things we do as humans, and we need community, we need each other to be able to do that well. It takes a village to raise a child is a cliche for a reason, and so we really want to help people learn that skill of reaching out and asking for support.
Resilient Winona will host another training at Maplewood Community Center on April 3rd. Happening today, Holocaust survivor Peter Feigl will share his experiences of Nazi Germany at Viterbo University. This marks his third visit to La Crosse as part of the D.B. Reinhardt Institute for Ethics and Leadership's lecture series. Yesterday, the 96-year-old recounted his harrowing journey escaping German arrests and finding refuge in Switzerland before eventually immigrating to the U.S.
I wrote 2 diaries during the war years between 1942 and 1944. So what I was able to record was subsequently verified by people in France, where I was at the time. They had access to national, municipal, and departmental archives.
The event begins at 7 tonight and is free to the public. Western Technical College offering free clothes for anyone in need today and tomorrow. The community clothing event at the Lunda Center features items of all sizes open to the public. Any remaining clothes will be donated to local organizations after the event. If you're looking for work, the Monroe County Job Fair is happening this afternoon from 2 to 4:30. Check out jobs and community outreach opportunities at the Monroe Human Services Assembly Room. It is free and open to the public. Don't forget your resume. The women's NCAA basketball tournament tips off tonight at 7 when Iowa State takes on Princeton. The UCLA Bruins earned the top overall seed for the first time in the women's program history. Now we'll send it over to meteorologist Art Jarrett. He's got a look at our morning commute.
All right, as we get into it here, take a look. We have, again, the slight snow up to the north working in the forecast, but you look towards Iowa and you're seeing now crossing into portions of Minnesota as well. You've got some rainfall moving in the picture here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit more so you can see it. It has some lightning potential for it. It had some severe weather with it before and it's kind of backed off a bit, but thunderstorm activity is still with it. Light to heavy rainfall is in that as well, and that continues to move upward towards Mason City, and eventually some of that is scooting on over towards Prairie du Chien, as you can see that as well, and heading to Dubuque, Iowa. All right, that being said, we have a minor risk for severe weather. We want to call it a low risk for severe weather into our forecast region. It gets all the way up to just near La Crosse and that kind of back southward. As we go through the morning hours, again, we're going to see this continue with the light snowfall up by Eau Claire, and then the rainfall is going to start to slowly move in as we get into the forecast here. So we've got another hour or so for that to happen, maybe maybe a wee bit more, but this is saying possibly getting into the 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock hour. You're seeing most of the snow starting to fill in up to the north, with most of the rainfall taking precedent this early morning for us here working southward down along I-90. This will continue on into the afternoon, as you can see with the rain snow mix in the pink. That starts to pick up a little bit as rainfall transitions to a mix of rain and snow, with snow also going into the afternoon and into the evening hours. Slowly but surely, the snow will win out and take precedent across the area there, and kind of holding on to everything as we go into your evening commute, and that continues to go out until about the 10 o'clock hour when we will be done and most of our alerts will be finished and out of the area. Still to come ahead, we have a hole-in-one classic is getting a sequel there. Ahead, a quick look at the newly released trailer for Happy Gilmore coming up in your Buzz Report.
Working with Maxwell White was amazing. They were professional, answered all of my questions.
I give Maxwell White my highest possible recommendation.
Maxwell White did a fabulous job on our shower. 5-star plumbing service done right.
How corrupt is Brad Schimmel? Let's count the ways. 1. Schimmel gave a plea deal to a man caught with child porn after the man's lawyer gave his campaign thousands of dollars. 2. Schimmel let 6,000 rape kits sit untested for years, then lied about it. 3. Schimmel took thousands in campaign contributions from opioid makers, then refused to go after them when opioid deaths spiked. That's Brad Schimmel, and he's way too corrupt for the Supreme Court.
After more than 30 years in banking, I have seen a lot of changes in the housing market and in home lending. The one thing that has not changed is my dedication to get to know you and your individual mortgage needs. There are many home loan programs out there today. We can sit down or talk over the phone to figure out what home loan program is best for you. Come see me and let's talk.
Everybody's welcome at Firefighters Credit Union.
A 5-year-old girl violated. The predator faced up to 60 years behind bars. Radical Susan Crawford sided with him, released on a $500 bond, and lived across from a school. His sentence, just 4 years in prison. Now he's free, all because Susan Crawford and her warped, soft-on-crime agenda. Catch and release Crawford. Don't take the risk. Fair Courts America is responsible for the content of this advertising.
These are real people seeking solutions to real pain.
I have plantar fasciitis.
My feet, my knees, hips, and back.
And then they were fit with Good Feet arch supports. Clinically proven. Significant pain relief in only 4 weeks.
I'm not feeling any pain. My heel, that's where I always feel it.
Pressure off your knees?
Yeah, actually. I didn't notice any pain in my back. I feel like I could walk all day in these.
Take back the life you love and book your personalized arch support fitting today.
I think every natural instinct of a parent is to protect their children. It's terrifying that Susan Crawford would consider a 4-year sentence appropriate for raping a child. Honestly, I can't even wrap my head around it. That she would allow a child rapist to walk free. My worst nightmare as a mom, it's really disqualifying. I don't think Susan Crawford deserves to wear the rope.
Have you checked your sump pump lately? After a big rain, basement flooding can significantly damage your home. Stay ahead and dry with a call to Maxwell White. We have standard pumps along with battery backup systems in case you lose power. Prevent future damage. Contact Maxwell White today.
All right, getting into your local forecast here as well. We have nothing much happening on our side of the river, but it's starting to get there with a little light rainfall spilling into Dubuque as well as getting closer towards Prairie du Chien. Now, the thing is, this is a big batch of rain and storm activity as that area of low pressure starts getting closer to us now. It's bringing in some thunderstorm activity, light to heavy rainfall in the forecast. We also have the winds that'll kick in, especially as we get into the afternoon. This kicks in as a wind advisory at 1 p.m. all the way to Thursday at 7 a.m. But for now, we'll get into it. The clouds continue to move in. We do have a marginal risk for severe weather, as I mentioned just a moment ago. Most of it is down to the south from La Crosse working southward along I-90. Now we get into it here. This is a view of Dubuque. You're going to see right now holding on to drier conditions, but their clouds are increasing. You see that big batch of heavier clouds, a darker shade of clouds out there. All the way from there, working back to us. That's where this system's coming from. It came from Kansas, developed over Iowa, and now it's working its way closer to us. We've got a winter storm storm warning that's in effect here as well. Blizzard conditions possibly from southern portions of Minnesota down to portions of the northern areas of Iowa. Now we get into it here. This will continue on as we go through the hours here and through this region here for the advisory. That's a winter advisory. That's where we are, and we're going to be seeing that bring in mostly rain and snow mix moving to the area. And then after that, it's all going to turn into heavy snow working into the latter portion of your afternoon going into your evening commute. So heavy rainfall, we got snowfall associated with that as well, strong winds, and that could make dangerous road travel for today. That's why we have the alert. Temperatures 30s and the 40s for your forecast today. That's what's happening. We get into it. Here it comes as we go right through the 8 o'clock hour. Snow has been trying to work its way over into Eau Claire, but right now it's been very light, not really hitting the ground. But by this time, it should be hitting the ground. Rainfall starts to move in as well. In the pink there, that is the mix of rain and snow. That's the demarcation line there. This whole system is tracking from southwest to the northeast, and it'll gradually kind of track a little bit, drag off to the east as well. As this continues on, you'll see this going on all through the morning hours. Rainfall turning into a mix of rain and snow turning into snow, and that will continue to drive all the way through into the latter portion of your afternoon and into your evening commute when snow really starts to take hold here. La Crosse is in it now. Eau Claire is in and out of it. You're seeing Ladysmith kind of brushed by it, and then as we go into it, everybody else gets in it into your evening commute. By the 7 o'clock hour, it starts to fade away to the east. Ladysmith out of it, Eau Claire out of it, and La Crosse will be out of it by the time we get in the 8 o'clock hour, 9 o'clock hour. You can see we're done by then. And then it continues to kick out of the area. By the time we get to the midnight hour, it's mostly by the Lake Michigan. We'll get into it. You can see most of everybody's getting into the snow today. That will continue on, as you can see, all the way from the south zone back into the central zone, getting back into the north zone. That still holds on there. We're also going to be picking up some pretty good rainfall totals as we go into the next couple of days. Maybe about 2 inches of rainfall in the process today or less. Snow is about 3 to 6 inches for La Crosse areas there. Up to the north, 6 to 8 inches, 1 to 3 down to the south. Finishing out, you're going to be picking up mostly at least around, say, the next few days, temperatures in the 40s, 50s, and it continues on as we go into the following week afterwards. Be safe.
In your Morning Buzz report, Stanley Tucci reveals health struggles while filming Searching for Italy. The actor told David Tennant's podcast he experienced extreme fatigue due to a non-functioning thyroid. Doctors traced the issue to his previous cancer treatments. Tucci now takes medication to manage the condition.
The matchmaker. You want a drink?
Sure, Coke and beer.
Hey, buddy.
Hi, John.
Dakota Johnson stars in Materialist as a high-powered matchmaker caught between an old friend, played by Chris Evans, and a rich suitor, played by Pedro Pascal. The romantic drama, written and directed by Celine Song, Oscar nominated for Past Lives, opens in theaters June 13th. Martha Stewart is at it again, releasing her 101st book, Martha Stewart's Gardening Handbook, The Essential Guide to Designing, Planting, and Growing, is hitting store shelves. While the homemaking expert is no stranger to publishing books, this is her first book in 30 years that centers around gardening.
Come on, brother. Grip it and rip it.
I guess I need to update my happy place to something a little more age appropriate.
Nearly 30 years after he first hit the links, Adam Sandler is back in the official teaser trailer for Happy Gilmore 2. The comedy sequel is set to tee off July 25th on Netflix. Before we head to break, it's time to look at today's Look Who's 8.
All right, Amelia is turning 8 years old today. She loves to practice gymnastics, wrestling, and spending time in the park.
Happy birthday, Amelia. If you know a special someone turning 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88, we'd love to feature them.
That's right. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab on our website.
Stay with us. We have everything you need to know in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is next.
Right now at Home Sleep Express, pay no interest for 5 years on Tempur-Pedic adjustable sets with free white glove delivery and a 120-night guarantee. Plus, get a $300 home shopping card. Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets available at Home Sleep Express.
Voters deserve to know what our records are.
Susan Crawford's record? Disturbing and dangerous. A 7-year-old girl sexually assaulted. The attacker faced 100 years. Crawford let him off with only 4.
I don't regret that sentence.
A 5-year-old violated. The predator should have rotted in prison. He got out in just 2 years. She protected them, not us.
I don't regret that sentence. I am proud of the work that I've done.
Susan Crawford, putting criminals over your kids.
To everyone who believes in tradition, come enjoy a few of ours from Wisconsin.
People in Wisconsin love a good fish fry.
Really love. And we love sharing it with guests everywhere.
At Culver's, we still batter our North Atlantic cod by hand to order.
And we cook it to a crispy, golden perfection just for you.
For you.
For you. So it's crispy outside, flaky inside. Let us take care of you.
With some homegrown traditions we were raised on.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
How corrupt is Brad Schimmel? Let's count the ways. 1. Schimmel gave a plea deal to a man caught with child porn after the man's lawyer gave his campaign thousands of dollars. 2. Schimmel let 6,000 rape kits sit untested for years, then lied about it. 3. Schimmel took thousands in campaign contributions from opioid makers, then refused to go after them when opioid deaths spiked. That's Brad Schimmel, and he's way too corrupt for the Supreme Court.
A 5-year-old girl violated. The predator faced up to 60 years behind bars. Radical Susan Crawford sided with him, released on a $500 bond, and lived across from a school. His sentence, just 4 years in prison. Now he's free, all because Susan Crawford and her warped, soft-on-crime agenda. Catch and release Crawford. Don't take the risk. Fair Courts America is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Get tax relief now at Homeworld Rugs with an extra 7% off sale prices on a wide selection of room-size area rugs. These stunning rug collections are now just $179 after 7% tax relief. Explore a variety of colors and patterns during tax relief now at Homeworld Rugs.
Welcome back at 6:52. Time for your morning news now. We are learning the identities of the victim and suspect in a deadly Quick Trip stabbing. Police say 34-year-old Dennis Vosica of Mankato was found unresponsive at the Madison Avenue store around 3 a.m. yesterday. He was later pronounced dead. Police used security footage to identify and arrest 28-year-old Michael Miller on second-degree murder charges. Russian President Vladimir Putin has agreed to immediately pause strikes against energy infrastructure in Ukraine, following a 2.5-hour conversation with President Trump yesterday. The White House calling it the first step in a movement to peace, and administration officials say more talks will come this weekend. Since the call, though, there have been explosions in the sky over Kyiv. Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz slamming Trump administration cuts at an Eau Claire town hall yesterday, calling for Democrats to push back harder. The People vs. Musk event drew key Democratic figures, including State Party Chair Ben Wickler and Secretary of State Sarah Godlewski.
We have to be and understand we are in a fight like we haven't seen, and that's why we're here.
Speakers also targeted Congressman Derek Van Orden for avoiding in-person town halls and criticized Elon Musk-backed funding against Democratic Supreme Court candidate Susan Crawford.
Is the kind of public servant that all of us would want to be leading and serving in our government.
Democrats criticized Congressman Van Orden for holding only virtual town halls. Van Orden defending that decision, calling in-person disruptions completely disrespectful. In-person absentee voting for La Crosse residents will open in just a few hours. You can vote today at the Southside Neighborhood Center from 1 to 5 or the Cleary Alumni and Friends Center from 10 to 2. Eau Claire residents can vote at City Hall from 9 to 4. Election day is April 1st. La Crosse mayoral candidates will face off tonight at the Politics for Pines Forum. The AARP hosted event starts at 6 at the Capella Center. Attendees can question the two remaining mayoral candidates while enjoying a drink. The free event runs until 7:30. You have to be 21 or older to participate. A quick reminder, News 8 is hosting a La Crosse mayoral debate 7 p.m. Friday live in our studio. That will stream online and on 8.2. Minnesota lawmakers are proposing tougher Medicaid fraud penalties. The bill would expand the Attorney General's power to investigate fraud and add staff to the Medicaid Fraud Control Unit. Maximum sentences would jump from 2.5 years to 20 years with fines up to $100,000 for theft over $35,000. The legislation also grants investigators access to financial records during fraud cases.
It not only takes money out of the system, which is very bad, it not only takes money away from its intended beneficiary, which is very bad, but it also erodes the public confidence in programs like Medicaid.
Ellison says the biggest way providers commit fraud is falsely reporting hours and services. And the weather is causing some closures and delays, including Arcadia School District, Luther High School, and the Whitehall School District. You can find a full list of closings on news8000.com.
Well, if some of those kids are still going to school, though, you can see here the rainfall has not crossed the Mississippi River yet. But the good news is there's also the weakening of the storms that are coming up, getting closer to the river. They're backing off a bit, just falling down to light to moderate rainfall instead of the severe rain that's been in Iowa thus far. We'll get into it. Rainfall forecast here, or I should say snowfall forecast. You're looking at 3 to 6 inches of snow for areas around La Crosse, up to the north by Eau Claire, 6 to 8 inches there, 1 to 3 down to the south. And rainfall should be at least 1 to 2 inches or less. We'll get into this weather alert day with cooler conditions coming in for the next few days. We're holding on to the first day of spring tomorrow, then mostly 40s, and of course the cool 50s still holding on as well locally.
All right, well, like we've been telling you all morning, NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams are back home in Houston this morning. No problem here, Houston. They're undergoing medical evaluations after spending more than 9 months in space. They splashed down off the coast of Florida yesterday in a SpaceX capsule, and their unexpectedly long stay aboard the International Space Station was due to technical problems on the Boeing Starliner craft that taxied them to space. Oh my gosh, I feel relief for them. I feel like a weight is lifted off my shoulders.
Hey, you are extremely funny, but you're also the moderator for that debate that's coming up, huh?
Well, not the moderator, but on the panel. Yeah,
gotcha.
We've got that coming on Friday. Yes, so thanks for joining us this morning. We will see you back here at noon. Until then, enjoy your day.